This is the stunning Kosciusko National Park, and I'm standing on the Great Dividing Range. These beautiful mountains are home to the gorgeous wild horses you can see behind me. These Brumbies have lived on this mountain for over 150 years, and I'm just stoked to be here because this is why I came. We were just up in the beautiful Ngarigo country.
Yes, we were.
Yeah, what a beautiful place, hey?
You won't get a better place in the world.
Kosciusko, how do you say it?
Kunama Namaji.
Is our source waters for such a magnificent region that feeds into rivers all down the east coast, southeast coast of Australia, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kunama Namaji is 2,224 metres above sea level. It's the grand old lady of all of Ngarigo. She's one of the ancestors, and I'm very, very spiritually connected to her.
You're very lucky because a lot of us don't get that kind of connection with country because we put ourselves in walls and we forget to kind of speak and liaise with our country. So tell me what it was like to be able to grow up in such an amazing place.
There's no words that can explain my feeling of growing up in it. I've been honoured, and it's a privilege to ride across country on horses. It's been beautiful, and a spiritual connection. I'm working with the Yarraman and training a Yarraman.
When you say Yarraman, you mean?
A horse.
Brumby?
A horse.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that we're losing that is tearing my heart and soul in half.
I can imagine. I've spent just a little bit of time with those Brumbies and they stole my heart. Tell me the changes. Tell me what's going on up there.
You got the Snowy 2 project. It's tearing the heart and soul out of our creator, and not just the Ngarigo's creator, the people as a whole. My grandfather and his siblings and that were raised at Lob's Hole and the Ravine. They're raping our country basically, and I can't put it any other way than them being environmental vandals.
And yet they say they're doing this for the environment, correct?
They're not doing anything for the environment. They're doing this for monetary gain. And that's totally disgusting.
So how do you feel when they take that environmental degradation that they're causing and blame a Brumby?
A Yarraman, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
They're using the Yarraman as a scapegoat, and that's all it is. They've got everyone focused on the horse and the aerial culling and everything, while they're tearing the country apart and impacting the native species and their habitats.
After decades of cloud seeding and chemical programs decimated the Kosciusko region, many scientific reports over decades were being silenced. These programs harmed our snowy gums and polluted river systems. Months after closures of areas for blasting, infrastructure development and chemical spraying that makes its way through every fabric of life, some of the largest marine die-offs in Australia's modern history followed. Desperate to cover the tracks of destructive industries, the largest deceit of all, innocent Brumbies, covered some of the largest lies in Australia's corporate and political world. Australia's innocent wildlife and people was just part
of the sacrifice.
And far as I'm concerned, the government are a communist government, and they're arrogant and they're dictating to everyone. And we're sick of the dictation. We've tried to do it the right way and ask them to come to the table and speak with us, but they've failed to do that. So they're not serious about protecting the environment. It's all about everything's for financial gain. And if the Yarraman was making it the same amount as money for the government as the ski fields and the Snowy 2 project's going to make, then we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
Tell me what you can remember the country to be like, and tell me the changes and when you feel it changed the most.
I felt it change. The catastrophic bushfires turned from bushfires into catastrophic wildfires because of the mismanagement of the fuel loads on country. It's been allowed to grow. They've got a hidden agenda, as far as I'm concerned, and they're not serious about the environment. And if they were, why are they just speaking about the Yarraman and they're not speaking about the Snowy 2 destruction?
Tell me what it was like on your country pre such involvement in all these big constructions and all the infrastructure going in.
It was beautiful. The tranquility was there. I could drive all the way down through past the Junimar homestead and go into the ravine and to Lob's Hole, sit by the river and have lunch and a cup of tea or what have you, and then drive out back up towards the link road near Cabramurra, and you could just go around and you could just enjoy yourself and enjoy the peace and the tranquility of it. Now,
so do you think it was in better condition when it was a cattle station, when they had it in that regard, or what are your feelings around those sort of things?
I believe that grazing should be still allowed in the mountains to reduce the fuel loads and everything there, and I think it's something that should be still happening today, and that's the only way. This government can't decipher from subalpine country and alpine country, because if they can't show us what pristine environment was before colonisation come in, then they need to keep their mouth closed, because they're giving false and misleading information. They're bringing the country and the state into disrepute, and that's a criminal offence. And we're not going to keep putting up with these people dictating and telling us what our land was and what it is and all this type of stuff. They've got no permission from the Ngarigo, the elders, the custodians or the leaders of the Ngarigo to speak on behalf of country. And for them to be speaking on behalf of country and what's right for it and what's not right for it, that's not their business.
So it's interesting, isn't it? Because the narrative in mainstream media was that the people of the mountain were for the Brumby cull, but that was incorrect, right? Because they were speaking to one person that they may have put into a system. Tell me about that.
Well, they never spoke to us. They basically spoke to an Aboriginal party that's not even Ngarigo, speaking on behalf of country, which is disrespectful to mob and it's disrespectful to the elders. The government spoke with the gentleman because it fitted their agenda, and they only want to talk to people that fit their agendas. If they don't fit the government's agenda, then they don't want to talk to them at all.
So tell us where we can go now. What appeal can we make immediately to these people to listen? And
what can we propose to them to move forward? Because, okay, they need their money. We don't care about that. We want to protect the environment. We want to build a plan and we want to go forward. So what can we do?
For a start, instead of spending $8.2 million to shoot the Yarraman, spend it on, that money could be better spent on giving us our land back so we can manage the horses and everything ourselves, and we can use the horses for people that have got mental health issues and children that struggle and stuff in life, and come and work with the Ngarigo and come and work with the horse. We can use it for a tourism business and everything. And
Calling these animals feral, how do you feel about that term?
they're not feral. They're not feral. The only ones that are feral are the ones calling the Yarraman feral.
Absolutely.
They're the invasive species, not the Yarraman.
Tell me how the Yarraman work on country. Tell me how they've adapted to that landscape. Tell me the way their families are. Tell me about their mobs. Tell me about these incredible creatures that they are nicknaming feral.
Well, as you know, the horse was introduced by colonisation. Back in the day when there was depression and stuff like that, the pioneering families of those days used the Yarraman to train the horses and to sell them off and to make money to feed their families and everything like that. The Yarraman also helped shape the cities and become what they are today. If it wasn't for the Yarraman, would the cities and areas be what they are today? I very much doubt it. The government say they want to protect the environment and everything, but they're not serious about it, because look at the cities and stuff. That was all bushland and everything back in the day. They haven't worried about the native species and the habitats when they're building their highways in the cities, and they're building their theme parks, and they're building new suburbs, and they're destroying the bush. And this is an ongoing thing. Well, and the horses then were a part of the colonisation, and because we were around back in the day, the ancestors and stuff, they were actually introduced to the Ngarigo culture as well. And what they've done is they've formed a part of our songline. They've formed a bond with the Ngarigo people to create fine stockmen and women. They've given me the ability to work with the horse and to train the Yarraman, not to break their spirit, but to allow them to keep their spirit and work with these horses in a way that's humane, by letting the horse talk to you. You can read a horse to what type of a horse it is. If you can read the horse, you can tell if the horse is interested in learning and if it is learning. And you've just got to keep going and reading the horse and feeling a sense of the horse. Now you got to get anything out of a horse, the horse has got to have respect for you, and you've got to have respect for the horse. But the horse needs to understand as well that there's a hierarchy in amongst it, and the handler is the hierarchy, but the hierarchy's got to have respect, and good leadership and quality leadership comes at the top. It starts at the top and it filters its way down.
So we've got an opportunity here to show people that these animals aren't feral, that the environment doesn't suffer because of these animals. And how do you feel when they say they blame all the environmental impact on the Yarraman?
Why are they feral? They're under control.
Yeah.
They're under control, and Mother Earth controls the horses. It controls their numbers. I've never heard so much load of hogwash in my entire life, and then for the Environment Minister to be offensive to the people about it and say we have to follow the science when you've got a professor turning around and saying horses have litters. How can you follow the science?
How do you feel he also said they were cannibalistic?
They're not cannibalistic. I've been working with horses most of my life and I'm still sitting here talking to you now. They've never eaten me.
And how they're so, in the way they communicate, is quite spectacular, isn't it?
So when you look at the Yarraman and you're working with the Yarraman, you look into their eyes and you can see softness, you can see calmness, and with that you can form a bond with the horse, and you've got to know how to speak to the horse and get it to communicate with you. And just standing there, not even having the words to say and just talking gently to it, you can generally get everything that comes out to a horse, and you can see what it's got to bring to you. And doing that, even just sitting there on a log, or if you just sit there and you show no threat to the horse or to the Yarraman, you'll generally get the Yarraman where he gets inquisitive and he'll come up closer. And the main thing is, as he comes up and he's getting close to you, the horse is starting to build that trust. And then it's whether you want to keep that trust going or you want to break that trust is what makes the difference between man and horse, or woman and horse.
Come here. Come on, beautiful. Hello. Hello. Come and say hello. Come on, beautiful. I know you're scared.
A lot to learn from horses, haven't we?
150%. I was on country one day when I was a guide for Cochrane horse tracks, and I actually went down to Tangtanga for a swim after a ride, and on my way back there was a small group of Yarraman. There was a red roan Yarraman there. There was a sort of a taffy that's got a flaxen mane and tail, which is basically a chestnut with a light mane and tail. And I pulled up and I just stood there and I watched the Yarraman, and the little flaxen mane tailed filly come up, and she was pregnant. And she walked up to me and I just stretched my hand out like that and let her smell my hand. And then I sort of went a bit closer to the little filly and I actually got the chance to touch her. So with that was very, very touching for me, and that's something I'll never forget. I actually named that little filly Curry Rose, and that the next 12 months when they started first doing their aerial cull, she was one of the statistics. Now if I had have been able to catch that mare, I could have put a rope over that mare and I could have caught her, and I could have brought her home with me and let her have a foal and everything at my place. And even to this day, it breaks my heart. And it doesn't have to be. So, and I'll never, they say they use 7.5 bullets to shoot the horse. Well, I've never heard of anywhere that makes half a bullet. So you're either using 7 bullets or you're using 8 bullets. Now, which one is it? Like, it can't be both. So, and then the RSPCA, well, they got a lot to be held accountable for. They're to protect all animals from animal cruelty and all this type of stuff. It's not about the money, and to the RSPCA it is, because they're getting new headquarters built on the edge of national parks. They're getting all this stuff that they're opening their mouth for, and it all boils back down to the money. And they need to be held accountable for this. And Steve Coleman, who's the head at the RSPCA, he needs to be investigated, and the whole lot of them. You've got the Invasive Species Council, you've got Penny Sharp, the Environment Minister's Office, then you've got Chris Minns, and then you've got Matthew Keane, who started this, and he was the Environment Minister for the Coalition, and he started this ball off. And then there was James Griffin. You couldn't even talk to these people, and they've started the ball rolling with all these wild and uncircumstantial information about the numbers and everything. They say that there's 16,000 horses there. It's not possible. And then knowingly giving false and misleading information to the people of New South Wales and to the people of this country, it's not right. It's not right, and it's a cruelty and bastardry act that they're doing to the Yarraman and to the other animals. So what I want to see for country is I want it to come back to the Ngarigo people and our friends and the caretakers of country for proper management. I don't want to see our lands getting ruined from catastrophic wildfires where it takes years for it to come back and regenerate. To me, I'm in sorry business because the government are killing the creator, which is our ancestors and our land. They're killing our waters, they're killing our animals, and that's all animals, that's not just the Yarraman. They're killing everything, and this has got to stop because that's not proper management. Open your doors if you want to be open and transparent about it. Get the Ngarigo in and talk to us about what's the best way forward to manage our lands and manage them properly. If you open the door and you sit with us, we'll help educate you to better manage the lands. And that also includes other mobs country. Don't just bring other mobs in on another mob's country because it suits your agenda. Talk to the mobs who've got that country. Look at the mobs whose country is on the IATSIS map, which is a government map. Those are the ones that the government should be following. It doesn't fit their agenda or anything, it's a government map. And it's about time that this all stop being racist towards the Aboriginal people, stop being discriminative, and stop being arrogant towards us. We're a friendly people, but we're also warriors too when we're backed into a corner. We've backed into a corner now, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. Open your door and allow us to come in and let us teach you. You're not teaching us, we'll teach you. Thank you.
Beautiful.